Ready or not, here comes the boys from the south. Here comes the ready or not. How you like me now?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Dirty South back again. Going to do the Ultimate Fighter finale picks tonight. But first, I'd like to start off with a little bit of a recap of UFC 99. What did you guys think of it? I thought it was kind of a little bit of a dull card. Some really shaky judging. It was a little weird that they didn't announce the scores to the decisions. Did anybody else find that a little weird? What do you think of the Crow Cop thing? He's going back to Dream, but apparently he's trying to make amends and saying that it's not true, and there's a war of words going on now between everybody. But overall, I thought the main event was a good fight. I think Wanderlei is going to do actually fairly well at 185, just like Rich Franklin says he will. I'm excited to see who they're going to throw him in there with first. I was thinking maybe Wilson Gouveia or Jorge Rivera would be a good fight for him, but we'll see. Anyways, with the Ultimate Fighter finale coming up this weekend, the first main fight of the night, we have Joe Stevenson versus Nate Diaz. Joe Stevens coming off of 2 straight losses, and he hasn't looked good in either of those losses. He went the distance with Diego Sanchez, but Sanchez really controlled the fight and basically did whatever he wanted with him, and Kenny Florian just steamrolled him, as we all know. Joe Stevenson has good takedowns and he has good submissions, but he's fighting a guy that's much taller and has a much longer reach in Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz is very tough. He has a really good chin. He's coming off of a loss to Clay Guida, which is his first loss in the UFC. Like his brother Nick, he's got very good boxing. He throws those pitter-patter punches and always stays busy. And he's very good in jiu-jitsu. With that said, even though Joe Stevenson has a black belt, I think Nate Diaz, I think his jiu-jitsu is supreme to Joe Stevenson, and I see Nate Diaz winning by a second-round triangle choke, which seems to be his patent. For the second fight of the night, we have Chris Lytle versus Kevin Burns. This one could be fun to watch. Chris Lytle, he's very exciting. He wins one, then he loses 2, then he wins 2, then he loses another 3. He's very up and down, as we all know. Kevin Burns, I think Kevin Burns is very talented. The guy had 2 great fights against Anthony Johnson, losing his second one via that enormous head kick by Anthony Johnson. But he's got very good boxing. He's got a very good chin, and he's also very good off his back. So I could see this being a drop-down war, just like Chris Lytle likes it, or I can see Kevin Burns taking it to the ground and submitting him. This is one of those fights where it can either go one way or the other. It could be an all-out brawl. But I think Kevin Burns has started to learn a lot, and I think he's going to hand Chris Lytle his 3rd loss in a row. Or it's not his 3rd loss in a row, I'm sorry, but I think he's going to hand Chris Lytle another loss, and then Chris Lytle will win his next fight. So I'm going to say Kevin Burns by decision. For the main event of the night, we have Diego Sanchez versus Clay Guida. Clay Guida going for his 3rd win over an Ultimate Fighter winner in a row. As everybody knows, Diego Sanchez was the original winner at 185 pounds. Now this is his 2nd fight at 155 pounds. How he can do that, I don't know. That's beside me. Diego, he's coming off his first fight at 155 against Joe Stevenson. He looked pretty good. It didn't look like the cut to 155 hurt him that much. He had very good stamina. Sanchez is a very good wrestler. His striking has improved dramatically since we first saw him back in 2005. Clay Guida, what is that? That's a fly. That's a fly. He's just buzzing around, and you can't get him. You can't get the fly swatter to swat him out of the air. That's what he does. He antagonizes people and he takes people out of their game. That's what he's good at, which is why I love Clay Guida, because he doesn't try to do things that he is not good at. He knows what he's good at, and he does them. And he does them very well, and he takes people out of his game plan. He reminds me of kind of like a Matthew Barnaby, Sean Avery, Esa Tikkanen type hockey player, where they are on the ice to take the other stars out of their game and get in their heads. with that said, I think that Sanchez is just going to be too big for Clay. I love Clay. I'm not a big fan of Sanchez, but I think Sanchez is just going to be too big, and he's just as good as a wrestler as Clay. And I think he's going to take the decision because I don't see him finishing Clay Guida. Gilbert Melendez couldn't finish him. Tyson Griffin couldn't finish him. Marcus Aurelio couldn't finish him, and he's one of the best submission guys in the world. So, with that said, I think Sanchez is going to take the decision. Those are my picks for UFC Fight Night for the Ultimate Fighter finale. Let me know what you guys think. Have a good one.
Ready or not, here comes the boys from the south. Here comes the